Clive Rosfield is a beast in Tekken 8. He's got huge, safe buttons that make him incredibly threatening from a range most characters can't contest, high damage, great corner carry, some tricky mix-ups coming out of his Phoenix dash, and some of the coolest looking attacks in the game. He's also more complicated than it may initially seem. So to break down how Clive plays at a basic to intermediate level, here's a starter guide going over his best buttons, some bread and butter combos, and some counterplay as well. Alright, so the first thing that we need to talk about is his Zantetsuken gauge. If you're a Final Fantasy fan, you probably kind of got a basic understanding of what this actually is. Basically, it is a move right here that at level 1 barely does anything. It's kind of a trashy move. It takes 22 frames to start up and doesn't do that much damage. But you may see every time I use it, that meter is going up. And if I keep on doing it, it'll get to level 2. And once it's at level 2, it's a different move. And that deals a lot of damage. Once it's at level 3, it does another move that does an even more crazy amount of damage. And you can probably see where this is going. Level 4. All the way up to level 5. Yeah, crazy damage. So in order to build up that gauge, he's got a couple of different moves that he can use. The first is his Heat Burst out of Phoenix Dash, which is right here. That builds up a whole bar and some change, so that's really, really good. One thing that I forgot to mention is that these moves that build up your Zantetsuken meter will still build up the meter even if they are blocked. So you can see right here, this is 2-2, 1+2. Oops, not that one. There we go. And if we get him to block, it will still build it up. Not that you'd really want to use this move like this because it is -13, you'll get punished for it. But still something good to keep in mind, especially for the next move, forward, forward 2. That is a safe move that builds gauge on block. And it also is a counter hit launcher, so if you counter hit with that, you'll get a good combo. Wall rising 1-2, which is his 13 frame punish from crouch. Phoenix Dash 2-2. We'll go into all the Phoenix Dash stuff later. It is very important to his kit. And then his parry, which is right there. So, you can use all those moves. You're going to want to incorporate all those moves into your game plan because having a level 5 Zantetsuken is extremely threatening. You can basically use it from a combo as an ender. You can use it when they're tornadoed. You can use it when they're wall splatted. Just substitute whatever combo ender you have with Zantetsuken, and you will add a ridiculous amount of damage to it. So yeah, very simple example. What was a pretty standard combo now does 98 damage. Insane. Alright, so now that we understand Zantetsuken, let's go over some of Clive's core moves that you're probably going to be using every match. Alright, so first up is forward 1+2. This move is kind of insane. It is a safe, extremely far-reaching, extremely active heat engager. Once again, it is safe. It is only -8 on block if we want to show it off here. They are not punishing you for doing this. So you get an extremely high reward for very little risk. The only risk that you take really is that you give up your turn. So you should not be pressing buttons after this. You will get counter hit. But other than that, extremely strong move. A lot of times people will just kind of run into it and then you'll get a free heat engager and you can start your offense with heat. And Clive is really good in heat, so we'll get into that a little bit later. Next we have 1+2, which is a 13 frame safe heat engager. It's only -9. And like I said before, it's a heat engager, so it will get you in heat. And if you use it in heat, you'll be able to follow up with a down forward 3-1. Not much more to say about it other than it's a really good move. It's fast. It is the move that you will want to use if you're playing against a character that you're not super familiar with and they hit you with a move that you know is punishable, but you don't exactly know how punishable it is. You can't go wrong just hitting these two buttons. And if it's a 13 frame punishable move, you'll hit it, and if not, you're safe. Next up, we have Clive's back 1+2. This move is probably one of the craziest moves I've ever seen in Tekken. Look at how far that reaches. That is absolutely insane. There you might get whiff punished, but like from right here, this thing hits from so far. If you space it properly, you could basically use it as a spacing trap, which is absolutely insane. But as I said before, this is a power crush move, so you can use it even if you're minus. Try and sneak your turn back. It also wall splats and triggers stage transitions, so you can get a combo just off of that. Crazy move. It is punishable though, so be careful about using it. And then we have his forward 2, which is his running 2, without transitioning into Phoenix Dash. This is only +2, but if you use it while transitioning into Phoenix Dash, you are +14. Which basically means that you get a free mix-up. So you can go low, you can go mid, and there's really nothing they can do to contest that. They have to kind of hold that. This is really good to use out of a heat engager. So if they block, you're plus, and if they get hit, well, they take a good amount of damage. Of course, if they see it coming, it is sidesteppable and punishable, so just be careful about that. Next up, we have back 2. Once again, extremely far-reaching, safe on block, only -4, and what's really cool about it is if they get hit, you can cancel into your Phoenix Dash, and basically any attack that you use out of here is guaranteed. So I can do this, that combos, I can do this, that combos, I can do this, I can do this. The only thing I can't do is this, which that's not a big deal. That move is not for that anyway. Of course, the big weakness is that it is a high, so it can be ducked and punished, but still, don't let that dissuade you from using this. This move is really good. And then finally, we have forward 4, which is just to go into your Phoenix Dash, just a raw Phoenix Dash, basically. Why this is really good is that one of Clive's really big weaknesses is that he doesn't have very good lows. This is probably his best low, down 1, which we'll talk about in a bit. But, like, that sucks. That's a little slow. That is very slow. What's cool is that he can threaten with Phoenix Dash from a distance and then just slide in. And we'll go into Phoenix Dash and all the stuff that you can do out of that in a little bit. But this is really strong. Just going in like this and using his 2 lows out of Phoenix Stance is really good. Alright, so those were his kind of core moves that are kind of at the center of his kit. Now let's talk about some other notable moves that maybe aren't core to his game plan, but still very important nonetheless. He's got down 1, which we were just talking about. This is, once again, his best low. It is 18 frame startup, but, it's still pretty fast. It goes not as far as I would like, but still, you can use it kind of from, like, what I would call Street Fighter sweep distance, like right here. It's also +2 on hit, so when you do this, you can do Wall Rising 4, which is only 11 frames. You'll be able to beat out basically any kind of mashing that they're doing, unless they do like a power crush. If you want to stay crouched, you can just stay crouched and then do while crouched down forward 2. So it looks like this. Basically, just keep on attacking the feet if they're not blocking low, and it's just a really good tool to either pester the opponent or close out a round with a quick low. Then he's got back 1, which will track sidestepping and is a counter hit launcher, so you can get some good damage off of this. Something like that. We'll go into some combos later. Forward 3 is his orbital, which will go over lows and get a nice launch for a combo. Little quirk about this is that you can't do your usual combo starter. So the down forward 1 will miss when you use this. In order to correct it, you have to do basically a micro dash to the right. Again, we'll go into some combos later. Down forward 1 is his 14 frame punish. It has 2 extensions. So this is kind of your main damage kind of combo ender. That's down forward 1, 2, 1. Like that. He can also do down forward 1, 4, 3. Which puts him into Wings of Light stance. This is mostly used for wall combo enders, because if you do 2 out of this stance, he'll do his Giga Flare, and if they are basically in a crumpled state or if they're in the air when they get hit by that, it will do a really cool move like this. It's also a really important move for combo filler, so you're going to be using this to kind of keep enemies up in the air and then hit them with a tornado attack. It's +4 on hit, -3 on block, so, you know, just all around fairly solid move. It's a little slower compared to most moves of this type, but still pretty solid. 4 is also a great mid attack that is 2 frames faster, has an extension in 4-4 and goes into Phoenix Dash. I should mention also, down forward 1, 2, if you hold forward, it'll go into Phoenix Dash, which is a really good use for that move as well. Then he has down forward 3-1, which is a Hell Sweep. Extremely slow, extremely punishable, as you would imagine, but it actually reaches pretty far. So you can hit this from a good distance away and catch people off guard, especially if they're not trained on looking for that animation yet. So this is a really, really good move, especially at low levels of ranked. You'll also be using this move a lot in heat combos. So let's say I were to do something like this. So you can see, you can kind of use it as the end of a heat combo like that when they're on the ground and you need to get some more damage in there. Next up is 4-2-1. This move is kind of a scrub killer. It is +1 on block, and that is notable because it comes out of a fairly long-reaching forward 2. So if they don't know to duck the second hit, this is a free. They're absolutely going to try to mash jab or something right here. If they do start ducking this, and they do it every time, you can actually commit to another combo extension, which is 4-2-2-2, which looks like this. And if only the second hit lands, then the third hit is guaranteed. So just another thing to keep in mind. And then finally, you have just 1-1. 1-1 is a standard jab combo. What's nice about it is that, like a lot of characters with stances, you can go into your stance after it. Now, a couple of things to note about this. If it hits, absolutely go into stance. That's great. You'll be able to do your standard 4 or Phoenix Dash 4 versus Phoenix Dash 2 mix-up. The important thing about this is that you don't want to do this stance transition if this is blocked. You are -3, so basically anything you do out here will be stuffed by a dick jab or a quick low, and you'll lose your turn and take a little bit of damage anyway. So don't use this. Don't use the transition if this move is blocked. If it's not blocked, go for it. And then we've got sidestep 1+2, which is a very slow move, but it is +2 on block, and it launches if they don't block it, like that. So, very solid move. Again, very slow. Don't use it too much, they'll just interrupt you, or they'll just knock you out of it. But every now and then, throw this in there, and who knows what will happen. And then finally, we have forward 2-2, which is a safe 2-hit combo. If you want, you can just kind of let that go and just give up your turn. But if you've conditioned them to take their turn back after these 2 hits, you can do the third hit, which will frame trap. So you see right there, and it's a heat engager, so you get to start your heat offense. And once again, like I've said before, Clive is really good in heat, especially because he's also got forward 2-2-1 while in heat. And this move is plus on block, and he can hold it and get a free guard crush if they don't do anything to jab him out of it. And let's talk really quickly about Clive's parry. So his parry is on back 3. It has a 4 to 8 frame active window, so if you attack him during the 4th and 8th frame of this animation, he will parry the attack, like that. And if you press 2 while you're in that parry animation, you will do a quick counterattack that deals good damage. You can also press 1 and 2 to do your Zantetsuken gauge building move, which does a little bit less damage than the counterattack, but it builds your meter. And then he also has a low parry on his Wings of Light. So if you try to hit him with a low while he's in this stance, it's kind of like Azucena's stance, he will do an auto attack out of it. So if we were to do something like this, and then we would get a combo here. Alright, one last thing before we go into combos. We kind of touched upon it already, but let's talk about everything that Clive can do from his Phoenix stance, or his Phoenix dash rather. So you can go into a raw Phoenix dash by pressing forward 4, and it is a quick little dash that you have a bunch of different follow-ups from. So let's just quickly go from the top all the way down to go over all the options you have from this. Phoenix 1. This is a throw attack. Basically, when you hit, it counts as a throw. And if it hits, it does pretty decent damage, sends them away. It is not safe. So you can see it is minus 14. So be careful about just throwing that out there. What is important about it, though, is that it is a power crush. So I'm going to set the opponent to do a fast high attack after taking 2 hits. So if I do something like this, you can see he absorbs the high or mid attack and then still powers through with his own attack. Still, this is probably one of the more riskier options that you have out of this dash. Another option is Phoenix 2. This is a mid, it is safe. This is going to be basically your mix-up opportunity between this and this, which we've already talked about. One thing to note is that this hits, you can follow it up with a down forward 3-1. You can do forward 2-2, which is not safe, but if it hits, it does another throw hit, and it also increases your Zantetsuken gauge. But just be careful with it again because it is unsafe on block. It is minus 13. Then he's got Phoenix 3. We probably won't be doing that on its own. You'll probably be doing forward 3 and 1+2. You have to do you have to commit to it right away. So you have to do dash 3, 1+2 pretty much right away. Or you can do dash 3, 2. And that is another option that does more damage, but you don't get the Zantetsuken gauge. And you also send it back a lot farther. One of his best options from Phoenix Dash is 4. So you do 4. If it hits as a counter, you get a free 1+2, as I've said before. Now, on block, this is punishable, but it's not as punishable as Phoenix Dash 3. So some characters will be able to punish you pretty heavily for it, like Kazuya, for example, can get a launch punish from it. I feel like it's pretty rare, though, that a character can actually punish you very heavily because it forces you into crouch, and yeah, you're going to have to hit him with a 13-frame launcher, which is not the most common thing in the world. And then he's got 2 other options. He's got 1+2, which is a heat engager. Also safe, so this is a good thing to use just when you don't know what else to use. If you're kind of scared to commit to something, just do 1+2. You'll be fine. You can see right there, only minus 7. And then your final option is 3+4, which is this pole swing move that is +7 on block and allows you to basically continue your pressure. So if you've conditioned them to hold the block, you can threaten with this, and then threaten with 4-4 or something. You got options. It's also worth noting that he can go into Phoenix Stance through a bunch of his moves. He can go in from 1-1. He can go in from 2-2. He can go in from down forward 1-2. What's important to note, though, is that not all of these are created equally. So 1-1, if it's blocked, it puts him in at -3. 2-2 puts him in at -1. 4-4 puts him in at +6. So that allows him, if he's +6, he basically has his mix-up. So 4-4, he has his mix-up of going in with 4 or 2, and you kind of have to hold that. Forward 1-2 puts him at +6. If he's +6, he gets a mix-up. That's basically what you need to know. He can still power crush through the mid option, But if you think he's going to do that, then you just go for the low, and that beats that, and also, once again, gets him that free 1+2. So that's pretty much everything you need to know about Phoenix Stance. Now let's look at his main bread and butter combo, which looks kind of like this. So like pretty much any combo in Tekken, the combo that you use here is going to be dependent based on how close you are to the wall. The goal is going to be to craft a combo that gets your opponent to the wall and gets you a follow-up on the wall as well. A really good follow-up that you want to try to get when you hit the wall is down forward 4-3. And the reason for this is that you can transition into Phoenix Stance and then do a quick mix-up while they're getting up. Other starters that you're going to be using include 4-3. As I said before, this typically will not combo. Just by itself. What you have to do is do a quick micro step to the right and then do the down forward 1. It's not super easy, and if you want something easier, you can just do, you just go directly into the down back 1+2 like this. And then you can continue the combo from there. He's also got some counter hit launchers like back 1, forward 2. And same deal, forward 4-2, where you just go directly into your down back 1+2 to continue that combo. And that's our quick starter guide on Clive in Tekken 8. Thanks for watching, and for everything else, keep it here on IGN.